Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
3 girls, okay. We had 5 last time, which is highly unusual. Good evening. I've seen a few of you in one-on-one already, and the rest we'll see during the week. As I told at least a couple of you, the seminar we're giving starting tonight is not the same seminar I gave last month. And not just because Bitfuck went in the toilet, which I've been predicting since most of you before you had your first period, Sweet Pea. But it's changed. The world's changed. The only thing that's constant for the last 29 years is the QLA model. And some of you are, thank you. Okay. Some of you are here for that reason. Some of you are here for a second lap or a third lap around the track because you've been here before. One of you is the baby daughter of one of my star mentees who's come with her brother, and before that, her other brother, and before that, her other brother who came, and I can tell who it is because the model works. And even though I knew it worked 29 and a half years ago, not many people believed me. They thought that for whatever reason, that the economy was just perfect for us. Now, I've said until I'm blue in the face, I've only had 5 good things that happened to me in my life. Sally, the 3 kids, and motherfucking Corona. That's it. Everything else I've had to work my balls off to accomplish. And then on top of Corona, we got fucking interest rates. God, thank you. And on top of interest rates, we got the fucking Ukraine. Thank you, God. And then they bombed Poland yesterday. God, I'm thankful. All my birthdays are coming at once. Yet you won't take advantage of it. Why? Not just because you're a cunt. Not just because you have no balls. Because some of you in this room don't feel you deserve to have it. Generational wealth. In your questionnaire, and I was looking through your paperwork again today, for about the 5th time, what's the highest performance thing that your grandparents or parents ever did? Nothing. What's the highest performance thing your parents ever did? Nothing. What's the highest performance thing you ever did? Now, some of you say, come in here. But so far, nothing. Nothing, nothing, and nothing. Even in new math, it's still nothing. People come here for 2 reasons. Inspiration or desperation. Maybe 2 or 3 of you think you're inspired, but you're not. You're just desperate. Yet, not the rule of thumb, because there are no such things as a rule of thumb. 2 of you in this group will be potentially superstars. 2 of you in this room will be just stars. And the rest of you will be, although in my numbers, also Rands, you'll be a lot more successful than you are today. But that's a low benchmark. Some of you don't have enough money to get home if you didn't have already bought a 2-way ticket. Yet you're here to get yelled at by a 77-year-old guy who sits in this chair more than he used to and is wearing orthopedic shoes. Because it's hard for me to stand. I'm getting ready for tomorrow. I'll be on my feet 8-10 hours. One of you is here because he has friends or business associates that have been super successful here. And we'll talk about them later. The Goomba brothers. Cuban gangsters from southern Florida. And a couple others are here because they know somebody that got rich. But it's the only game in town that you don't have to have any money, which fits this group perfectly. No money. For those of you that have a few bucks, you can make, and we'll show you how during the week, how you can make the model, not a shortcut, but you can make it happen faster. I am deathly afraid that some of you that have some money will try that too soon. We have a couple of you in the room that have made 5, 6, 7 acquisitions already. All wrong. And that's why you're here. We've got one or two of you that are going to pivot from what you did before, not maybe all wrong, but not as efficiently as you could have, to the real QLA model. I was telling one of you, at least, there's a couple of people that have, several people who want to do documentaries on me, and they asked me, what do you attribute your success to, Mr. Peña? And I my normal pat answer, which I'm changing now, is, well, it's the countless weeks of 100 to 120 hours I spent for 10 years. Now, that eliminates 99.999% of the competition. But the more I thought about it, and I do these documentaries, and I'm doing this TV series, which I'm 8 years in the making, this TV series, 8 years in the making, because I want kids to know that are basically from the ghetto or the body or whatever, that you can get rich and have no money. And the real reason that, in addition to those 100 and 120-hour weeks, is the countless people that I was privileged to rub elbows with that were high performers. Poorness rubs off, richness rubs off. High performance rubs off. And for a 10-year period, arguably 12 years, I was around 100% of the time as my Japanese partners used to say, big fucking hit us. Big fucking hit us. And it rubbed off. And right now, for most of you, we're the average of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with growing up. That's normally a mom, maybe a part-time dad, an older brother, an uncle, a grandparent. And how has your program worked out? It hasn't. As they say in Scotland, it hasn't. It hasn't. Every once in a while, I slip into my Scottish accent, which nobody understands, including the Scots. But it hasn't worked out. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You've tried everything from Tony to Jay to Ty. You've tried every motherfucker that walks. And it hasn't worked. You're here because of your older brother. And where's your other brother? In here, someplace. Okay. Good German stock. And I make a lot of fun about the Germans, but 70% of my most recent Hall of Famers are all Germanic. Marcus Bauer would take exception to that because he's from Austria. But to me, he's still German. To him, he's not German. But Andreas Milner, the little Simon the Nazi Voss, are all German. Because there's something about the German mentality that they understand direction. They understand the plan and the program. And they can follow orders. I go back 70, 80 years to the little midget Hitler. Certain ethnicities, we're going to talk when we're not on YouTube, that you shouldn't do business with. Whatever you do, don't do business, and I'm going to give you 7 ethnicities. I told you already, a couple of them. One of which is yours. Now, how can I sit up here as a 77-year-old man and tell you who you shouldn't do business with? Some of you, I'm going to tell you to change your name. I've been directly or indirectly involved in 100,000 transactions, deals. I know what works and what doesn't. Most of you that are in business here should just go home, or you can do it on the phone. Turn the key. Turn the key means close the business down without ever going back. At least a third of you. All you've done is buy yourself a job. Some of you, I can't understand how you make so little money in your business. Are you doing it on purpose? Are you trying to step on your dick on purpose? Because you certainly are. Now, your brother, one of them was a policeman. Right? Now, I can understand a policeman or a fireman not making any fucking money. That I get that. But why would you work 12, 14, 16 years at a company and make no fucking money? Your company, your business, and make no fucking money. Why wouldn't you have closed it down years before? Other than the 4 people, the 2 superstars and the 2 stars, 10 years from now, all of you are going to be more wealthy than you were when you walked in the door. Because the model rubs off on you. When you go back home in a week and you follow the scheduling format that we give you, and you have to keep track of, basically, when you get up in the beginning of the morning, does everybody pee when they get up in the morning? Well, anyway, I know what I do. Anyway, from the first pee you take in the morning to the last pee you take before you go to bed, you're going to keep track of what you do. I told one of you, you'll be nauseous. You'll throw up. You'll throw up. How little you accomplish. But everybody in this room is going to increase their output at least 10 to 20%. At least 10 to 20%. As Elon Musk said before this big fiasco with Twitter, he said, you give me a guy that works 80 hours a week and he'll get, easily twice as much done as a guy that does 40 hours a week. Some of you in this room don't work 40 hours a week. Some of you in this room don't work 10 hours a week. As Elon Musk said a couple weeks ago, go pretend to work for somebody else at home. Unfortunately, where I see Corona as a paradise, a bird's nest on the ground, most of you in this room have used it to get lazy. Some of you have used it to get fat. Now, there are such things as stupid questions. I will know by noon tomorrow who read the material that I told you to follow before you got here. I'm not going to ask because you're going to lie. But I'll know by noon tomorrow. The people that do the best in the seminar do 2 things. They ask the fewest questions and they take the most notes. Yet tomorrow noon, at least half of you will have not written one motherfucking word down in the notepad we give you. Why? Because you're pretending. You're here because somebody explained to you you should be here, whatever. So think hard before you ask any questions. Now any questions so far? Good. Duncan, hit it. And when you go in there, the men do not sit down. The women do. I'll tell you when you can sit down. And for those of you that are staying in the castle, the pigs that are leaving the motherfucking door open, if I find one of you leaving the door open, I will excommunicate you and you'll go home. If you fuck with your phones, you're excommunicated, you're going home. No refunds. You use the phones on the breaks. Hit it.